Okay, we got why everyone is quitting the 40-hour work week from Andre Jick or Jeek. I'm so sorry. But okay, let me see. I did not know this.
Did you guys see this article that was floating around recently from the CEO of Squarespace where she said Gen Z job seekers should be willing to work for free, work long hours, and willing to do anything? Now, back in
Wow. Are you serious? I think she's just like rage baiting. There's no way she's serious with that statement. She knew that that was going to get clipped out of context. Maybe it's in context. I don't even know. There's no way that's a serious statement. 100%, dude. No possible way.
my day, that was called volunteering because I was always taught that
Yeah,
if you're ever good at something, you should never do it for free.
as we all know from the movie Batman. That's that's another good quote from the Joker.
Which is why I never made money as a magician. That's why I do it for free here on YouTube. But here's what's
Damn.
interesting. Do you remember a couple of years
I mean, I can't do that shit.
ago, there was this massive wave of resignations? More than half of the people surveyed in 2021, for example, said that they'd be looking for a new job in 2022. And a lot of those people actually kept their promise because
Oh, well, 2020 to 2021. That's when all the so many businesses were going out of business because that was like the pandemic, and it was like depending on where you lived, either it was either like a year to like 2 years of bullshit. And I think 2021, that's when they started to do like the in the home
data
in the home working, and some people were just like so fed up, I think, that they could get like depending on what job you have, it depends. Um, People were just sick and tired of doing like long commutes to work, because if you have a long commute one way, that means you have a long commute back, and that commute time is taken out of your own personal time, and that sucks. Um, hmm.
shows that in 2021, as many as 47 million people quit their jobs, which was the highest year on record
Oh
until
shit.
2022, which became known as the year of the Great Resignation, when over 50 million Americans quit their job. Then in 20
Oh shit. That's crazy. But like, I'd be curious to see like what industries everybody quit their job in. That's what I would be curious about, to see like the breakdown, to see like where the industry, or just where the state of the United States is going. um what people would I predict, or like what industries would I predict that like people are just quitting? Probably like stupid office jobs. Like stuff that you can easily just sit at home and like peck away at, probably. Because there was a little transition area where big businesses were trying to get people to come back, and then some people were like, "Nah, I'm just gonna go do something else. This is stupid." And then some businesses allowed people to like work from home, which was fine. I don't give a shit. Just get the job done. I don't care where you are. Um, I don't know. I'd be curious to see like the industry breakdown of where everyone quit.
2023, we got another wave of quitting, which became known as quiet quitting. And it wasn't
Oh yeah, the whole quiet quit. So if you don't know what quiet quit means, that means like you still have the job of whatever, but you just do the bare minimum to keep the job. You do not go above and beyond. If you're looking at like KPIs or something, you're only looking to score like about a 2 or a 3 out of 5 or whatever, or like a 4 or 5 out of 10, just like smack dab in the middle. Just do the minimum requirement. Like, you look at your job description, do the job description, and that's it. If anybody asks you to do anything else, you tell them to go like, fuck you, buddy. That's not my job.
just regular people quitting their jobs. but it was also the CEOs. Even though the average paycheck of a CEO was $16.7 million.
Are you kidding me? The average paycheck of a CEO? Like, there's no way. The average annual pay for S&P 500 CEOs in 2022, 16.7 mil. That's the average. Again, I would want to see the actual line by line breakdown of the average of the top 500 CEOs. Like, what did this person make? What did that person make from this company? I would want to see the actual details and break it down from like most to least, and then see who's making the most, who's making the least, and fit. Because like 16.7 mil, like that's the average, which means there are some CEOs making less, but there's some CEOs making more. If I were to guess, I would guess it's gonna be look at like a chart like this. Like if you were to plot, what do you call it? Why is my paint like this? So you do this, you do that, you do this, you brush. Or actually, let's do a line. Go line, line. Let's see. We got the parabola. Now, where on the parabola do I grab? If 16.7 mil is the average, let's grab right there. And how steep do I want to make it? That seems pretty fair. Like right there. I would probably guess out of the top 5 S&P 500 companies, if you were to put them all on a graph, the graph would look like this, where like down here is like, I don't know, like 10 million. The graph doesn't start at 0. 100% the graph does not start at 0. That is a farce. This is like, I don't know, like let's say 10 million is down here. And up here, I don't know, let's say like something like, I'm guessing 50 mil. And let's say you only got like a couple people up here. You only got a couple. You only need a couple. And then you got like so many people down here making like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mil or whatever. The average will be somewhere like in there. And that just happens to be like 16 mil. That's what I would predict.
A year, CEOs from companies like YouTube, BP, Walgreens also quit their positions. And that brings me to 2024, which some people are starting to call the year of the Great Resignation 2.0, because 3 in 10 workers are planning to quit their job this year, and most of those quits are attributed.
Oh, wow. This happened last year. 3 in 10 workers planning to quit. Jesus. Low pay, desire for better benefits, search for less stressful work, and some reasons behind the shift. I mean, pay and benefits, payment and insurance, health insurance. That's it. People want a livable wage and to be able to take care of themselves and their family. That's it.
To Gen Z and millennials. In fact, quitting has become so popular that even this guy was forced to quit. So in today's video, I want to help answer a couple interesting questions like, what the heck is going on? Why have so many people quit their jobs in the last few years? And why are we still following a law that hasn't been changed since the 1940s about...
Well, because that law probably benefits people in power that are already benefiting from that law being in place, whereas if the law would change, it would probably give more power to the people that are not in that tippy top position. That's it. That's why the law is not changed. I solved it.
The 40-hour work week, and should you quit your job? There's a lot of really interesting data that I want to share with you about this. So with that said, let's get into it. Hi, my name is Andre Jick. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance.
It is Jick.
Stay
Okay.
for the jobs. Now, this video was inspired by another video that went absolutely viral about an MIT
Oh, Gooby and Dooby, yeah. I seen that one. The doctor bro that was like, wow, all of these people that are coming to me with their issues, all their issues could be solved by eating healthy and working out. And he just couldn't fucking believe it. But what do all the doctors do? Well, they just tell him to just give him pills. Give him pills and don't change your diet, don't change your exercise, whatever. Bang. That's it. Yeah, that was the moral of the story.
neurosurgeon who quit his job after working for 10 years, making hundreds of thousands of dollars working on people's spines and brains.
And I can't believe, like, that video probably single-handedly warped the minds of everybody in medical school when that came out. So, like, if you're like a medical student and you watch that video, he came to that realization so you didn't have to. So you now know what you're going to be up against. You're going to be part of the machine.
And he's just telling his story way up in the mountains.
Yeah.
And it really caught my attention because I thought, how could someone quit such a prestigious job after working so long and making so much money?
Well, because he didn't want to participate in the system anymore. He's like, bro, I could fucking cure you. You can cure yourself. Just eat right and exercise. That solves like almost 90% of things. Or whatever with the comorbidities of like, if you have this disease, comorbidity is like the obesity, what is it called? Like sedimentary lifestyle, high cholesterol, heart disease, blah, blah, blah. You're eating a shitty diet. Ugh. You got some stomach problems because you're eating fast food all the time, fried food. Right? That's the realization he came to.
And he has a super interesting story that goes back 10 years ago when he took this oath to become.
And he had the most epic battle against like a mob of flies like halfway in the video.
I'm a neurosurgeon. And what he found out was that the surgeries would help people from time to time, but more often than not, the surgeries did not help most people.
Mm-hmm.
So he started to ask his patients questions about their lives, like what kind of job they had, whether they were stressed or not,
Mm-hmm.
whether they exercised, and what they ate, and how long they slept. And he says that throughout all of it, he found out something really interesting. What he found was that the people that would be able to recover from his surgeries all had a couple things in common.
People that got better were having a mostly plant-based diet, and they were definitely not eating salty, and they would do things that would make them sweat, like exercise, being outside, hiking like this, going to a sauna,
Mm-hmm.
or they live in a warm place.
There's the flies.
They didn't smoke. They didn't drink much.
Yep. Stop smoking. You're a loser. Stop excessively drinking every day. You're a loser. Like drinking from time to time, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's whatever. But like every day, it's like, I mean, you could do what you want, man. But like, if you want to live by the sword, you gotta die by the sword, essentially.
Usually had a good social support, like loved ones, family members.
Yep. If you got money, and like you have like a wife and kids, chances are you had like grandparents that had like a wife and kids, and with like some sort of job, it don't matter the job, like you just have something. All right, like if you're broke, poor, going from job to job, chances are you're not gonna be confident in yourself to like even approach the opposite gender, to even think about starting a family. All right, a lot of people are just like reluctantly in situationships. All right, that sucks. You know, that's why there's a lot of single moms out there thinking that they can like take on the world. But like, it stands to reason, like, isn't like a dude and a chick like raising a kid better than just one or the other? It's less stress on each individual. It's better for the kid to get both perspectives of like male and female. in life.
Children, friends, like a way to socialize. They would sleep. They would sleep like 8 hours every day. And they weren't stressed out, or if they had a stressful job or something,
Yeah, you go to your job. I mean, stress is relative. You know, the there's between eustress and distress, the good stress, the bad stress. I mean, it's gonna be very dependent. If you're just stressed about your job, you're stressed about making money, you're stressed about paying the bills, stressed about the next meal you're gonna eat, you know, your car payment, your phone payment, all your bills. I mean, it's annoying.
they found a way to like, be mindful or meditate or like just be present and release the stress back into the universe.
What I would argue that people sometimes do is, and you can tell when people do this, is like if you go out and you like interact with someone, like let's say like a cashier or like a not just a fast food person, like a waiter, waitress, or like a doctor, not a doctor person, but maybe a doctor person, or like a nurse, or just like someone in there that has to interact with people every day, like that kind of vibe. You can tell when someone has mentally just checked out, because when they talk to you, not only is their body language very like muted and like so like non-combative at all, like it comes out in their voice too. It's very like monotone, and that's just like a good sign that someone has met, like they haven't physically checked out because they still like feel they need a job to contribute to society in some way. Don't be a douchebag, and you know, I got to make money because I enjoy the little things in life. But they're just like so over it. They're just like, I'm just fucking showing up, doing my shit. I mean, that's where the quiet quitting thing came in, dude. They're physically there, but mentally they have checked out. And I only mention that because I kind of had an interaction with someone like that yesterday. Yeah, it was like I went to the dentist, and like the lady that does like the deep cleaning thing, I tried to make like some bullshit small talk, and I get it, she's doing that shit every day, but I don't know, I could tell like like she was all like gowned up, like the hat, the mask, the gloves, everything. I like the only thing I could see was her eyes. I could see her eyes, and I could hear her voice. And I could see her body language. Like I could just tell she was just over everything, dude. I was like, damn, I feel bad about that.
Then he goes on to say that the people that couldn't maintain their health after the surgery were the opposite from those people. They were people that did not get a full 8 hours of sleep. They felt stressed a lot of times. They didn't exercise much, they didn't eat healthy food, and they didn't have a lot of friends or a support group to help them get through it. So surgeries for those people would help them temporarily, but then their body would go back to having pain again. And that's when he had his epiphany, the aha moment of how to actually help people. And he said that realization became a huge problem.
But the way that everything is set up in the whole country, it's not any particular hospital. The way things are set up is that the hospital needs to make money. The problem there is that if you figure out a way to help patients heal, and that way doesn't include a pill or a surgery, well, then the hospital and the doctor are in big trouble, because if you figure out a way to help people heal and you can't charge them for it, well, then you've just worked yourself out of a job.
Yes and no. Because simultaneously, people are always going to have like all sorts of issues. In his case, it was like neuro and spinal. whatever the average age is when that shit starts to happen, it is what it is. I don't think, and this is just like an opinion, the goal was to, of all of this, well, from his video, the goal is to not take away the jobs from the doctors and the nurses and all in between by making everybody healthy. The goal should be just increase the age of when people are getting these surgeries. But understandably, there comes into place, like the next question is like insurance. Like insurance is probably not so willing to pay for a surgery for like a really old person getting like spine or like brain shit done, because it's like they're 70, 80, whatever the age, 90. It's like, oh, you're almost gonna die anyway. I'm not paying for this. This is stupid from an insurance perspective. So it's like making people healthy and having them do those surgeries later in life is great for society, but bad for insurance. Whereas the opposite, having people that are like middle aged go through all those surgeries, and then staying like just like not healthy, but like good enough is great for insurance, because then that person is on the hook for a longer amount of time. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man.
So once he had this realization, he said that he gained a lot of weight, he became sad and angry, and he realized that he couldn't continue working for another 20 years because he didn't think he'd live that long.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
last September, he quit his job. And I really resonated with his story because I know how hard it is to work for something for 20 years only to realize that maybe that's not the thing you were supposed to do. So his story really made me wonder, why are people having these epiphanies and quitting their jobs? So the first place that I started looking at was at the data. And what I found was that more people want to quit their job today than ever before. Big tech.
I mean, I want to quit my job. I wanted to quit my job after like the first month, but I'm still fucking here. Like, bro, the day I win the lottery is the day I'm out of that bitch, dude. Fuck it.
Like Microsoft and LinkedIn, for example, showed that out of 31,000 people across 31 countries, 46% of them said that they want to quit. And that is...
And I would venture to say that it's probably greater, and then at least half of the half are lying. That's what I would say. Half of the half that didn't, of the 46 said they what was that 60, 64. I would say no, 54. At least 54. 22. No, I can't do math. I'm bad. A half of that half is lying 100%, because they didn't want to appear to be like depressed. Nobody wants to be, or at least publicly appear to be depressed, because like that's a shameful thing to feel depressed about your job.
There's a lot more people than even during the Great Resignation, when only 40% said they wanted to quit. So I put that data aside and I wanted to look deeper at the surveys into what actual people were telling us why they were quitting their jobs. And according to surveys from Statista, here were the top 10 major reasons why people are quitting their job today. Reason 10 is because employers required a vaccine. Reason
Oh, that fucking meme. Oh, Jesus.
9 was working too few hours.
Working too few hours. Okay, so what's the implication? Okay, I'll tell you the implication. The implication is I want to work less and make more. That's the implication. All right, this is not like news. Nobody is out here trying to work for $8 an hour for like infinite hours a week, okay? No.
Number 8, some people wanted to relocate to a different area.
Okay, what does that one mean? That means I want to go to my job and not have to drive at like an hour away. All right, that's ridiculous. An hour there, hour back. That's minus 2 hours of your own personal time. All right, that's an hour earlier that you have to wake up. Fuck that shit.
7, some people thought they worked too
Working too many hours, the more common one. Ooh.
Many hours, or the benefits weren't good.
Benefits weren't good. All right. This is like your health insurance, your dental, your optical, your primary care. All right. That's what this is.
Not enough flexibility. Reason number
Flexibility. I mean, I get it. Like sometimes you want to take off and you can't take off. It's like I want to go to my friend's birthday. I want to go to this. Well, not want to, but like I was gonna say like funeral or like a vacation or something like that. There's like this thing, like this video game that came out, so maybe I don't have enough vacation hours or some bullshit. I want to take off on Christmas. Well, everybody can't take off on Christmas because if we allowed everyone to take off on Christmas, no one would be here doing the thing.
4, childcare issues.
Yeah, I mean it's understandable. Childcare issues, like if you're a mom or a dad, like single mom, single dad, and it's only one of you, and it's like you don't got enough money for a babysitter. What are you gonna do with the kid? Hopefully you have like a friend or someone else that can like take care of your kid while you're at work or whatever the case is. It's annoying.
Number 3, people felt disrespected at work.
Yeah, you're just a gear. You're just a brick in the wall. You're a gear in the machine. You are easily replaceable. Yeah.
Number 2, some people felt they had no advancement opportunities, but
Same thing. See the previous one. No advancement. I mean, if you want to try to like no advancement opportunities, it depends on the job. Like certain jobs you can like advance. You just got to get like a couple extra certificates or take a couple classes, is whatever. But like it depends. Like how are you gonna advance at like a restaurant? You start out as a dishwasher, and then what's the advancement? Then you go to like waiter, or maybe like sous chef, or something, or like maybe a hostess, or like a delivery driver or something, and then maybe you go get like some more papers, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm a cook now. Now I got my little serve safe, a little thing. Now I can start to cook some bullshit now. I mean, it's the advancement thing. I think this is like optional. Like there are probably situations where people meet the qualifications to go up the next step, but for whatever reason, they just never get the chance to.
the biggest reason is that they thought the pay was just too low.
Yeah. Pay was too low. This I don't know if this is a news flash, but like almost every job that people consider a job, people are putting in more work for not equal pay. That's almost every job, dude. For like conventional, like whatever. Like the only jobs that are not like this are like entertainment jobs. Movies, actors, voice actors, what else? Streamer bro, content creator, influencer bro, entertainment type jobs. This is like, and like you're successful at it. And again, it goes back to that graph of, I gotta figure out what the name of that goddamn graph is, where it's like the big old swoosh, where there's like 99% of people are over here on the bottom, and then the 1% is making all the money. Oh wow.
Thought the pay was just too low. These are all really good reasons for anyone to quit their job. But the problem is, they're not new. Anyone could quit their job for any of these reasons in any given year. And it doesn't really help me explain this phenomena of why so many people have quit so recently. So,
I think it's partly because the internet. Somebody has a bad day at work, they quit their job, they make a little YouTube video squawking about whatever. It makes sense. There's a lot of emotion in it. Very entertaining. Very logical. It's like, I quit my job for XYZ. Fuck this place. I'm outie. Fuck this industry. I'm outie. And then other people see it, and then that's the vibes that they get. It's like, oh shit, his situation was similar to mine. Maybe I should do that. And then, some that happens to some people and not so much others. But yeah, I mean, the turnover rate for like the lower positions in jobs is way more than like the upper jobs.
I decided to look back
It just
farther
is.
into the past. And the deeper I looked, the more this picture started to make sense. Because the real problem started before most of us were even born. We have to go back to 1940. That's when the FLSA, or the Fair Labor Standards Act, was changed from a 44-hour work week to a 40-hour work week.
Oh wow, -4 hours. Oh my god. That's so massive. Everybody crowd around the guy with the pen and the glasses. -4 hours. Oh my god.
In order to increase productivity. It was also then when we decided for the 2-day weekend how much someone would get paid working overtime, what it meant to be full-time and part-time. Now, those laws were based on the economic conditions and the productivity levels of that time. But here's
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty more advanced since the 1940s, wouldn't you say? I mean, I could fucking chat GPT or Grok some like big titty anime cat girls porn, okay? I think we've advanced like a shit ton since then, okay?
the problem. Over the last 80 years, we've had a huge technological revolution. We invented automation, computing, instant communication, the exchange of information, the internet, AI, and all of that meant an increase to what's called productivity growth, meaning the same worker could now do way more work in a shorter amount of time.
Oh wow, one guy can wear so many hats? That's crazy. Wow, I can wear all the hats and just be one guy. Shit, if I can handle all that, I'm gonna go off and make my own business. Because why do all that and work for someone else? That's retarded.
And data shows that since 1947, productivity growth has skyrocketed. So here's what all that means. If we take two people, one with access to 2024 technology and one with access to 1947 technology, it's the person who's using modern technology who can make, on average, almost 5 times as much stuff as the other person, or get 5 times as much work done. That also means one of two things. If we can do more stuff, but we're not making more money, we can maybe work less. But obviously we know that's not the case. Most people
Oh yeah, like you gotta look like you're busy still. Like, oh, I got all the shit done. Well, there's still like 7 more hours in the shift, and you got it all done in an hour. We'll just stand around and just sweep some bullshit and just look like you're doing something. Okay.
People are still working 40-hour work weeks or more if they're on a salary. Or there's option 2, which is we make more money. But here's the data of what actually happened. Not only are people working multiple jobs today, which was not the norm in the 1940s, but wage growth has not kept up with productivity. In fact, it's split.
Non-farm business sector real hourly compensation index. So non-farm is going up like kind of low.
Sometimes
Non-farm business sector labor productivity and wait, what? Labor productivity index, real hourly compensation index. So productivity is going up, but real-time hourly compensation is not going up. So people are being more productive, but the compensation isn't going up. Ooh. That's why people feel disrespected. Ooh, I get it now. The disrespect.
in the early 1970s. The question is, why did it split? And the answer is pretty complicated because there's a lot.
Technology. There, I did it for you. Technology got better across all industries.
Of reasons, so I put together just a few of them. There was something called the Taft-Hartley Act of 1947, for example, which restricted the activity and power of labor unions, and that led to the decline in union membership and union power. This law stopped allowing unions from making donations to federal political campaigns, which meant less representation for the workers. Then in 1962, there was the investment tax credit, which encouraged businesses to invest in new machinery and technology, which increased the development of automation and efficiency. Then we got 1974 and the Trade Act of 1974, which encouraged companies to relocate their manufacturing overseas. And
Oh, dang, he made way more sense than I did. That was like an examination of the entire system, the rules, the technology, and hey, you can have your business based here, but have your workers work somewhere else. Yeah. Everybody's engaging in it. Like all my clothes are probably from China. All my shoes are probably from China, made from like Chinese slave, like child sweatshops, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. And shit, even the stuff that's made in the United States, like all the parts are made in China, and then they just assemble it in America and put a stamp on it and just be like, it's 100% made in USA. Okay, dude.
manufacturing overseas meant more jobs went overseas, which also lowered wage growth here in the United States. Then in the 1970s, there was the oil shock, which led to high inflation and an economic slowdown. That created something called
10-gallon limit?
stagflation, which slowed the wage growth and decoupled it from productivity even more. Then there was even more inflation thanks to Nixon's wage and price controls. And in 1978, there was the Airline Deregulation Act, which increased competition in the industry and lowered job security and benefits for workers. Then there was a huge shift towards maximizing shareholder value, and that's when companies started to prioritize profit making over workers and their wage growth.
Yep. Wow. Corporate profits, middle class wages.
And in the 1980s, there were the right to work laws, which allowed people to not pay their union dues. And that made the unions less money, which made them less effective. After this law, some studies show that wages dropped 1% 5 years after the law was passed. And it keeps on getting worse because in 1980, the same thing that happened to the airline industry happened to the trucking industry with the Motor Carrier Act of 1980, which led to deregulation, which increased competition and lowered job security and benefits for workers. And
I mean, shit, like I just saw a couple videos yesterday of some like self-driving trucks. Like the self-driving truck, like across the country, as becoming more and more of a thing. It's crazy.
Then we got the 1990s, and the world became more globalized.
The nations of North America are ready,
strengthened by the explosion of growth and trade,
to recognize that there is no turning back from the world of today and tomorrow.
The North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA, lowered trade barriers between the US, Canada, and Mexico, which increased competition from lower wage countries. Then in the 2000s, China joined the World Trade Organization, which increased imports from China and put a huge pressure on American wages because of the lower labor costs.
Lower labor costs? Why? Because there's so many people in China. The culture is probably significantly different around working.
And in the 2010s, we got the rise of the gig economy. We got apps like Uber and Lyft, and those apps were great in allowing people to make more money, but it also led to the gig economy, which came without the wage protections and the standard employment benefits. Combine all of that with the crazy growth we've seen in the stock market and in real estate due to liquidity as a means to pay the debt from our past, and you get the world as we know it today. All in all, these are some of the reasons why workers today can get a lot more work done, but why they get paid less for it. And the expectations for workers are higher than they've ever been before, and that has led to burnout. But I also think there's one more thing. Like I said, this has been building for 80 years now, and what's led people to the edge of this burnout to quit was the pandemic.
Yeah.
But really, the best answer that I could find that helps explain all of it is this.
People have been living to work for a very long time, and I think the pandemic brought that moment of reflection for everyone. What do I want to do? What makes my heart sing? And people are thinking, if not now, then when?
And I think she's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Before, the mentality was, We
Well-
should live so that we could work so that we can pay our bills. And that was the illusion that we all believed in as long as the times were good.
Yeah, as long as the times were good, as long as you could buy a house and pay it off within like, what was it like back then, like 5 or 10 years or something like that. Like you could have a house, a car, a wife, 2 kids, and all of that could be sustained off of one dude working. Yeah, doing that now, that's like a fever dream, unless you got some like sort of crazy like middle management, upper management job or something like that, or you have your own business and it's like kind of popping or whatever. Yeah, it's like you're not gonna be able to sustain that. Like sustain 2 people and at least like 1 kid, and you have like car payment, car insurance, house payment, house insurance, all your bills, all your food, all of other bullshit. It's too much.
Back when cars and houses were more attainable,
Mhm.
when food was a lot cheaper,
Yep.
when gas prices weren't so high, when utility bills were more reasonable, when restaurants didn't ask for a tip for every single transaction.
Oh yeah, fuck that shit. That tipping shit is so annoying. Before I even get my food, it's like, you want to just pay now and leave a tip? It's like 20%, 22%, 24%, other, 0. Sorry.
And then we got the pandemic, and the global economy was shut down and everything was brought to a standstill. So the government tried to bail us out by printing trillions of dollars and causing an excess of 20% inflation over the last few years. And that was the moment when there was this mental shift in how we thought, not just about our jobs, but about our lives. Because we went from living so that we can work to working so that we can live. Because if the jobs we work impact our mental health, which has a direct effect on the quality of our lives and how long we live for, I think that's why people are rethinking everything and prioritizing and maximizing for happiness instead. And I think those are the reasons for why these changes are taking place in the last few years. And I think you're going to see a lot more of these stories about more and more people wanting to quit their jobs.
I mean, we will. We're going to see more and more people quit their jobs, but it's a combination of people are also just straight up getting replaced by AI. So people are quitting and they are being replaced by robots, more or less. So the job market is also shrinking as people are quitting. And I don't know how long it's going to take, but maybe we'll get something like universal basic income. Who knows? Or give me some of that Doge money.
A recent survey, for example, noticed that out of 1,000 people polled, roughly a third said they'd be looking to quit and start a new job soon. And the highest percentage of those people came from people between the ages of 18 to 34. And that makes perfect sense to me, because when you're younger, you tend to move around a lot anyway because you're still trying to figure it out. But I also think there's this effect that the younger generation sees the outcome of the older generation, and they look at the economy and everything that's going on, and they make the choices that they do.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we can see the choices that they make. The kids in school are using ChatGPT to solve all of their school problems. That's what they're doing. And there's not a damn thing that anybody can do about it. Just, it is what it is, man. They're like, oh, there's this program that helps me solve math, helps me solve reading, helps me solve English. I'll type in this critical thinking problem into ChatGPT and it'll give me the critical answer.
Which isn't to say that they're good or bad, that's a separate discussion.
Mhm.
But one thing that I think is true is CEOs are not going to watch this video and be like, this young man has a point here. Let's pay them more and allow them to work less. So I think
Yeah, said no CEO ever.
the only other question that I want to help explore is, should you quit your job? And the answer, of course, is that it depends. I
Yep.
actually took a quiz from the Washington Post about my job making videos here on social media.
How often do you feel bored at work? Rarely. And even like even answering something like this, it's like you have to be like genuinely true. Okay, because people can lie, and it's like you can kind of tell like what questions are going to be like, oh, if I answer this one, I'm going to be more likely for this thing to tell me, oh, and only off of 8 questions.
Media, I'll leave a link for it down below, but I consider myself to be extremely lucky because even though these videos take a lot of work to make and I'm a one-man team, I don't have any editors. I'm the only person that scripts and shoots and edits and plans for these videos and
Same over here, dude.
answers the comments and everything else. I think it's extremely rewarding. And I think the thing I look forward to the most is knowing that at least one of my videos helped someone out there with something. I think validation goes a long, long way. But so does making money, which is why
Yeah, I need my feelings validated.
experts say you should have anywhere between 6 months to 1 year for emergency expenses if you do.
Bro, like, as hilarious as this is, like, with my current job, like, it took me, like, 6 to 7 years, like, at my current job, to have, like, an emergency fund that fits in here. But, like, for, like, 6 months or something. So, like, about every year, I was able to make, or save about a month of bullshit expenses for, like, the emergency fund. And I'm pretty like I'm not the best at like budgeting. Like I have vices and shit like everybody does, but like Jesus.
You decide to quit. And studies also show that switching jobs, especially early on, is the fastest way to grow your income. In fact,
Really? Jobs have been a winning strategy. Job stayers versus job switchers.
it's actually recommended that you should switch your job every 2 to 3 years, which is the best strategy to grow your income. And I wish I did that with my last career, but you know, I never said I was any good. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you staying with your job? Are you quitting? And if you are, why? And do you still think we should be working a 40-hour work week? As always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to grab your free stocks. Links are down below. Go track them automatically with a spreadsheet link down below in my Patreon. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'd love to see you back here next week. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Dang. That's some knowledge right there, dude. Huh. Everyone quitting. I mean, it's just gonna be more and more people quitting. Like, there are some job industries where it's going to be like insanely hard to replace the people with like either robots or AI or whatever. But like a lot of the entertainment jobs, like that shit's getting like phased out for like real people. I mean, they're even phasing out like cashiers and stuff like with the self-checkout. I mean, there's so many people still going to the self-checkout. Anytime I see someone going up to like a real person, it's always like an old person, like writing a check or like whipping out coupons or whatever. Like almost all like young people and middle-aged people, like maybe 40-ish, like they're all going to like the self-checkout. It's only like the 50, 60, 70-year-olds that are like going to like the person. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time. Give it more time. There's just going to be less and less people. There might be like some, but like it's just not going to be the norm anymore. But, man, we'll see what happens, what the U.S. looks like in another couple presidents. We'll see. But overall, cool video. I'm a fan now. Dubsky. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.